Hello, Word of Faith Center Sunday School. Welcome to our WoFC YouTube channel. My name is Dorcas. If this is your first time of joining us, you are also very welcome. If you had a birthday during the week, we want to say thank God for you for celebrating your special day. We thank God for adding 365 days to your years. Hip, 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 hooray for you. So last week, we were talking about a special young man. Who can tell us his name? Oh no, it's not Nehemiah. Joshua? You're quite close. Not quite. Joseph, thank you. Who remembers where we left Joseph last week? Yes, so Joseph was a slave in the house of a man called Potiphar. Potiphar was an Egyptian official of Pharaoh's. Now, we said last week that he had been taken captive. He could still have hope because God was with him. God had not left him. So even in that situation, Joseph still had hope. Now, in time, Joseph's master Potiphar realized that there was something very special about Joseph. He realized that the Lord was with Joseph. He realized that God was with Joseph because everything that Joseph did went really well. He said, you know what happened? Potiphar realized that, he could rest so long as Joseph was around. So he gave Joseph charge over all of his property and his businesses because he knew that once Joseph was around, he could just relax and everything would go well. I know that there are some of you, your teachers trust you so much. They know that if they send you off to the headmaster's office with a message or they ask you to take care of a new pupil to the school, they can trust you that you will do it because God is with you and you seek to please God all the time. That is the case with Joseph. Now, in time, Joseph, who happened to be a very handsome young man, was noticed by his master's wife. Now, his master's wife kept saying to Joseph, come to bed with me, come to bed with me. Now, what do you think about that? Was it right for Joseph to do that? What do you think? Maybe? What did you say? Yes. Anybody else? No. Definitely no. No. Joseph kept saying no. And that leads me to our key verse, our memory verse for this week. And I'm just going to read it. So our key verse for this week is Genesis chapter 39 and the second part of verse 9. And this is what Joseph said. He said, how could I do such a wicked thing? It would be a great sin against God. So Joseph knew that God wouldn't approve of him going to bed with his master's wife. If you remember last year, when we did the 10 commandments, we learned a verse. One of the commandments said, you've got it. Well done. Yes, it said that we should not commit adultery. And that is adultery. Going with somebody's husband or going with somebody's wife. And that is not pleasing to God. So Joseph said no to Potiphar's wife. And she wasn't very happy about this. Now on one particular day, when all the other servants were out of the house, doing jobs in different places, it happens that Joseph was alone in the house and Potiphar's wife approached him and she tried again to tempt him, saying, Joseph, come to bed with me. Oh my goodness. What do you think Joseph did? Joseph took to his heels and he ran. He ran and he left the house. He left his cloak with her in his haste to get away. In the evening when her husband came, she went to him with Joseph's cloak and she lied to her husband Potiphar about Joseph. And she said to him that Joseph had been so rude, Joseph had been so cheeky, he had tried to attack her, he had tried to take advantage of her. Oh, how do you think Potiphar felt? He was angry. He was so angry. He immediately commanded for Joseph to be thrown into prison. Oh, Joseph. After all that had happened to him, and now things seem to be going well, he was put into prison. Is it possible to have hope in prison? What do you think? What do you think? How would you feel if you were put into prison? Yes, because Joseph knew that God was with him, and because Joseph trusted in God so much, even in prison, Joseph could still have hope, great hope, because God had not left him. You remember what we learned last week? We learned that the Lord was with Joseph, and so he prospered. And this was when he was in his master Potiphar's house. The Lord was with him, and so he prospered. Did the Lord leave him? Can the Lord leave us? Will he leave us? No. He has promised he will never leave us. So he was still with Joseph in prison. And as Joseph trusted him, Joseph was able to go through this very difficult time of being in prison when his dreams, you remember the dreams we learned about before? His dreams seemed so far away now. And even in prison, God began to bless Joseph. Even in prison, God caused the prison warder to start seeing that, yes, Joseph was special. And so the prison warder started to give Joseph favors and give him some responsibility in prison. So next time we meet, we are going to carry on and see what happened to Joseph whilst he was in prison. So in the meantime, I'm going to encourage us to study and learn our memory verse. Our memory verse for this week, as I said before, is Genesis chapter 39 and verse 9b. And it says, I'll read it again, how could I do such a wicked thing? It would be a great sin against God. So, have a wonderful week. Be good. Remain blessed. And see you soon. Bye-bye.